history's most elaborate and intriguing sacred sites. Was Egypt the destination for Earth's earliest extraterrestrial visitors? And if so, were the ancient pyramids, tombs, and temples actually built by ancient aliens? Or were they, perhaps, inspired by them? To find the answer, Egyptologist Rami Rahmani has invited ancient astronaut theorist and researcher Andrew Collins to join him on a visit to one of the most impressive and best preserved shrines in Egypt, the Temple of Edfu, located on the west bank of the Nile, 465 miles south of Cairo.
Look at this temple. This is like my most favorite facade in all of the temples of ancient Egypt.
According to mainstream archaeologists, Edfu is believed to have been built sometime between 237 and 57 BC. It is dedicated to the falcon-headed god Horus, the son of Osiris and Isis.
This temple was one of the last temples that was ever built in ancient Egypt during the Roman time. When they built that temple, they were like, we want to preserve the stories, so let's gather all the mythology of ancient Egypt and try to put it in one temple. It took 150 years to make this happen. And then finally, we have the book of ancient Egyptian mythology. It's right in front of us in all these walls.
Every wall is absolutely covered in hieroglyphs and images, not only of the foundation of ancient Egypt and the first temple, but also how the world came into being, how Egypt came into being, how the universe was essentially founded in the first place. I mean, there's just so much here.
The most sacred part of Edfu, the Holy of Holies, is its inner sanctum, featuring a 12-foot tall granite star.
This is it, right here. This is how it all began. Every symbol, every text, every little drawing here represents the most sacred thing for ancient Egyptians. The question that humans now still ask themselves: how did it all begin? What created us? Like every religion talks about it. Scientists tries to figure out. Ancient Egyptians had an answer. It was right there. Right on top of this is the pyramid. That pyramid is the primeval mound that appeared in the middle of the marshes where all the gods came and landed on for the first time to start creating humanity. This is the beginning of humanity.
What we have here is a focus of all of these chapels, finishing with this incredible structure pointing towards the north. It's actually pointing towards the origins of the gods themselves. It's a way of projecting the sun back to its place of origin amongst the stars.
There's another piece of evidence here that you might like. This is the boat, or a symbol of the boat, but they believed the gods came on to the first primeval stone.
So it's all here in this sanctuary. The whole story of humanity's beginning. You know, its place in the stars and how it arrived here in the first place. This, to me, strongly suggests that they were aware that our origins are found amongst the stars. I think probably the answer is yes.
Or it could just simply be humans trying to make religions explain what science can't explain.
But I don't think it's about religion. This is about cosmology. An ancient cosmology that was believed by the ancient Egyptians, and a cosmology that we're now beginning to understand for the first time within science, whether it be to do with astronomy, astrophysics, or quantum existence.
Are the ancient hieroglyphs, carefully inscribed on the granite stone at the Temple of Edfu, merely the fanciful notions of ancient Egyptian priests? Or could they be based on actual historical events? As far as ancient astronaut theorists are concerned, they believe that extraterrestrials first came to Egypt in a pyramid-shaped spacecraft that was later referred to in the pyramid texts as the Benben stone. But once here, they may have used an even more incredible
was cut into pieces. The head of Osiris was found at Abydos. When we look at the hieroglyph for the head of Osiris, it clearly resembles an electrical transformer. On the opposite wall, we see the same device attached to what is referred to as the Ark of the Millions of Years, the Ship of Eternity. The pyramid texts replete with stories of the pharaohs flying through the cosmos. The Ship of Eternity, which they portrayed on the walls of the temples, is looking exactly like the way modern science portrays a world. The ancient Egyptians believed that the human body could be transformed into a light being form that matched that of the gods. And so we have to ask, is this device some kind of a transformational device that could take the human body, turn it into a light being form perhaps, that could then travel through a wormhole to a distant star system, Orion, for example? Does the Ship of Eternity represent a stargate through which extraterrestrials, and perhaps even humans, travel instantaneously to other parts of the universe, perhaps even back to their own planet, located somewhere in the constellation of Orion? Ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and they suggest that such a device may still exist today, hidden within a recently discovered void inside the Great Pyramid. An ancient Hebrew text from the 3rd century BC, entitled Exegete, attributed to the poet and playwright known as Ezekiel the Tragedian, tells the story of a strange encounter Moses had while on Mount Sinai. Moses comes upon a noble being who's sitting on a throne. This noble being invites Moses to sit on the throne, and when he does so, this noble being gives him a crown and a scepter. Suddenly, Moses finds himself looking at the earth from space. It actually gives a description. I looked forth upon the earth's wide circle, then at my feet behold 1,000 stars. So we have to look at these ancient stories and wonder what's described. How is it possible that we pull a crown and all of a sudden you're in space? According to the Hebrew Bible, Moses was raised as a nobleman in ancient Egypt and as the adopted son and brother of two powerful pharaohs. Is it possible that when he led the Israelites on their exodus into the desert, he was already in possession of secret extraterrestrial devices that would be thousands of years ahead of his time?
Today, through augmented reality and VR, we can see that our technological advances can actually extend someone into a whole new environment by placing these devices on their head. It's very possible that some of these ancient devices, constructed for the pharaoh, were actually extending their consciousness to another physical location, or possibly project this physical body like a stargate to some other location.
Is it possible that the biblical account of a throne, one that transported Moses to the stars, is directly connected to Dr. Giulio Mali's theory that the recently discovered vault inside the Great Pyramid could contain some sort of sacred metallic transportation device? And if so, could it be the same object that the ancient Egyptians referred to as the Ship of Eternity? For ancient astronaut theorists, the answer is a profound yes. And they believe that the ultimate evidence of Earth's extraterrestrial past may be closer than ever before.
This place to me is ground zero for all the theories that I have investigated, and actually my resolve has strengthened in taking a secondary and a tertiary look at ancient Egypt to look at even more evidence, because I think that's incredible.